Okay, hello my friends. My name is Mina. Welcome to my channel, Mina Reads, and today we're doing a book haul, even though I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban. We love that for me. At this point, my book buying ban is pretty much non-existent, so I've decided to just embrace it and have fun. So the first few books that I'm going to tell you about are actually my October Book of the Month picks, so thank you to them for partnering with me on this video. So how Book of the Month works is that each month their team vets hundreds of books, provides you with a carefully curated selection of new and early release titles so you can spend more time reading and less time researching. I have been using Book of the Month for a really long time, and I absolutely love their service. I just think it has such a high level of discoverability, even for me as someone who is like really enmeshed in the book community. And I like to think that I keep on top of all the new releases and all the new authors that are debuting, but I feel like Book of the Month is always surprising me. They always are providing me with new authors to check out in genres that maybe I wouldn't always be reaching for, and I just think it's a really great way to discover new books to pick up. I also think it's a great service because with the service you get free shipping and the best prices for hardcover fiction. It's really easy to navigate. They also have an app, and on the app that has like different like reading challenges and little fun things like that, so I really love that. And recently they've also added audiobooks to their service, so if you're more of an audiobook reader, you can use your credit for an audiobook instead if that's like your preferred reading format. They also have a really easy skip function, so if the selections maybe aren't working for you that particular month, you can save your credits or you can skip the credit altogether. And I love that so much. I think it's incredible. So I just am a huge fan of Book of the Month. I definitely advocate for using their services, especially if you are a hardcover lover, because they have the best prices for hardcover fiction for sure. And y'all know that hardcovers can be expensive these days. So if you use the code SPOOKY and the link in my description below, you will be able to get your first box for $5. And let me share with you the two books that I got for this month. So the first book that I got was Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, and this is a gothic fantasy. It's going to be so perfect for my fall TBR, as if it isn't long enough already. But this is about a young woman named Opal, and she is trying to take care of herself and her younger brother Jasper, and she gets this opportunity to visit the Starling Mansion, which is currently owned by this guy named Arthur. And it just seems like the house is going to be spooky. There's going to be some secrets and some mystery going on there, but I'm very excited by this, and I love a good like standalone fantasy, so I'm very hyped to get into this. And I also think it's maybe like a little bit of a romantic element in the story, and I love romance, y'all know me, so I'm excited to give this one a shot. This will be my first book by Alex E. Harrow. And then the next book that I picked was this thick girl, and this is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. This is essentially a second era to the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I'm a fan of V.E. Schwab, so I just had to pick this up when I saw that Book of the Month was offering it. This is about 7 or more years after the events of the Shades of Magic trilogy, and we have this new Antari queen coming into power, and she's sort of a religious zealot, so there's some worries about her rule and this like age of darkness that she could bring about. So I'm very intrigued to see it, but also this book is so long. Like, I actually have to look, I have to see, because I could be exaggerating it. It's like 650 pages, so pretty long, but not as long as I thought. I was estimating like 700-800 pages just based on how thick it is, but I'm excited either way. All right, so let's talk about these other books. So I had to pick up Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce for my senior capstone. I only have this semester left until I'm finished with my English degree. I'm so excited. And so the only thing really standing in my way of said piece of paper is my senior capstone course. It's all about like analyzing your relationship to the English major and how you felt like across your 4 years of getting this degree and the utility that you think the degree has overall. It's interesting. It's very like self-reflective and meta as a course. But anyway, we're reading Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man because we are going to be writing like autofiction, autobiographies about like our academic careers, and that's like our senior thesis. And so yeah, we're using this sort of as a representation of the kind of thing that the professor wants us to go for. This will be my first time reading James Joyce. I'm nervous about it because I am not at all a fan of like stream of consciousness, and I know that that is really what Joyce is known for, but I'm gonna have to give it a shot. So yeah, I did pick this one up for my courses. And then I got 2 books. My grandma, the kind, benevolent soul that she is, I remember telling her something about like having a rough day. I don't know, like I just wasn't having the best time. And so she was like, hey, like, do you want me to buy you some books? I'm willing to buy you some books. So I got 2 books on her dime. So shout out to her. One of them I have already completed, and one of them I'm currently in the middle of reading. So Yellowface by R.F. Kuang is a like satirical meta literary fiction story about this woman named June who's pretty much a thief. She steals her dead friend's manuscript to publish it as her own, and this is about her basically stealing her work and the ramifications of that. It's an analysis of the literary landscape, the publishing industry. It talks about like who has the right to tell a certain story, because the story that June steals from Athena is a like historical fiction novel that is based on Chinese history, and June is a white woman, so it's really like who has the power or authority to tell these tales and to profit off of them. And I think it has some really interesting things to say. It's a little bit heavy-handed, but despite all that, like, I thought that it was cool. I really liked it. Very compulsively readable. So like, yeah, I'm so happy that I finally was able to read this, because this was one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and it was just great. It reminded me how much I love R.F. Kuang and how much I need to read Babel by her as well. There's that. And then we have another amazing book, which is One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Olivia Blake is one of my favorite authors. Like, she's definitely getting up there for me. So One for My Enemy is this standalone fantasy that is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. It is set in New York, and it's about these 2 opposing witch families and how they're all entangled in this like complicated web of revenge and retaliation against each other for a bunch of different slights. And it's like the generational conflict between these people, and also like the love and the loss, and it's tragic and it's funny. And I am so deeply obsessed with Olivia Blake's writing style. I think her writing style can be so like dramatic and a little bit overwrought sometimes, but there's nothing I love more than dramatic overwrought prose. I love when characters speak to each other in just like the most dramatic and hyperbolic language possible, and the love declarations in this book have brought me to my knees. I am like 400 pages into this. I'm lying. I'm 300 pages into this, but I am just loving every single minute of it. I haven't had as much time to read recently because, like I said, I'm back in school, so I'm doing like my coursework and everything like that. But I can't wait to finish this because it's genuinely incredible, and it's shaping up to be one of my favorites from Olivia Blake. So it's like neck and neck with Masters of Death for me. Like, I love Masters of Death, but this one, it might top it as my favorite of hers, so we'll see. But I'm having a really great time with this so far. Then I got this cool paranormal series. I can't remember what the series name is, but the books themselves, the first one is called Witchful Thinking, and the second one is called Kiss and Spell, and these are both by Celestine Martin. And so Witchful Thinking is about this woman named Lucinda, and Lucinda is a witch. She lives in this small town, and she like works as a high school teacher. She's a little bit unsatisfied with life though, and so she makes a wish, and somehow through making the wish, she ends up hexing herself, and so she's unable to say no. It's kind of giving me like a Ella Enchanted vibe. Okay, and so then she has this guy named Alex who was like her high school crush, and he ends up asking her for a favor, and she's unable to say no to him, so it causes them to spend a lot of time together because he needs help like unhexing or unjinxing his house, and so he would like her magical expertise, and she would usually say no because she's really shy and standoffish, but because of the curse, it has caused them to like come together, and it seems like it's going to be like a sweet romance. And like, I love small town witchy romances. I feel like they're so fun and sweet, so I think this will be a good time, and I'm excited to check this one out. And then the next book in the series, Kiss and Spell, is about our 2 protagonists, Ursula and Xavier. And so Xavier is a prince, and he's a fae prince, and he has been hexed or cursed by the Fae Queen, and he cannot break the curse until he gets like true love's kiss. And he ends up going to this witch who was really powerful named Ursula, but Ursula has recently lost her magic due to some unforeseen circumstances, and she decides to like help Xavier find his perfect kiss, his one true love, and along the way, clearly they're going to fall in love. But it just sounds fun, it sounds silly, and I'm very intrigued by the fact that he's a fae prince, and this is a black romance, and so I love that. I have never seen a black romance that had like a fae element to it, so I'm so excited for this. I just think that this series is going to be so sweet and fun, so I'm excited to check these out. And yeah, like, I love a good paranormal romance. Speaking of magical romances, I have the third book in the Last Binding series. The first book in this series is called A Marvelous Light. The second one is called A Restless Truth. And then this final one is A Power Unbound. And this is one of my most anticipated releases for this fall, so I'm very excited to have it in my hands. It's like a historical fantasy. It's set during the Edwardian era, and we have this main guy named Jack who is a magician, but he has kind of sworn off magic after his twin sister died, and he just wants nothing to do with magic anymore. He's completely over it, but something is happening within the magical community where everybody is at risk and like only he can help. One of those chosen one type moments. And so he needs the help of this guy who is a thief, and this is about them going on like a quest together to find some answers, solve this mystery, and fall in love in the process. It's got like an enemies to lovers vibe. I really enjoyed the first book in this series. It's just a really fun, like, queer, magical, historical romance series. All of the things that I really tend to love. So I'm very excited to read this final installment, and I think it'll be so great. And also it just has kind of a cozy vibe. Like, even though the stakes are kind of high in all the books that I read in the series, it does have that cozy element that I think a lot of fantasy readers are looking for these days. So if you're one of those people, check out the Last Binding series. I'm so excited to read this. I love Jack. He's a side character in the other books in the series, and I love him. Like, he's such a bitchy, sassy guy, and like, I hate the word sassy, but like, he is. Like, he's so bitchy. He's like the king of a comeback. Like, he is just so funny, and I love the way that he engages with all the other characters, even though he's a little bit mean and a lot bitchy, but I'm obsessed with him. So I'm really excited to read his book, and hopefully it'll be amazing. Okay, now let me tell you guys about how I went to the thrift store, and it was literally magic. It was like the most magical, predestined experience of my life. So The Goblin Emperor, favorite book of the year so far, and I have been speaking with one of my friends, Stephanie, and me and Stephanie decided that we were going to do a buddy read of another book that's set in that world, right? So we decided we're going to do this buddy read. We're like coordinating about what would be a good time for us to start the book and all this other stuff, right? Literally the very next hour, like literally 60 minutes after we had that conversation, I walk into the thrift store. I go to the books section of the thrift store because I always do a little cursory check just to see what's there. What do I see on the very first shelf that I look at? The book that we're buddy reading is called The Witness for the Dead, and this is about a side character in The Goblin Emperor. So this is about this guy named Thara, who is a witness for the dead, and in this world, witnesses for the dead can speak to the recently deceased, and they use this as a method of like doing investigations. So he's kind of like a magical detective in a way. Even though Thara is like a really tired, really depressed like dude, and he just wants to kind of mind his business, his powers do force him to be involved in a lot of like politics and a lot of mess and a lot of mystery and a lot of murder, but his job kind of calls him to be involved in all of this mess that he doesn't necessarily want to be in. And so the synopsis doesn't like elaborate on what the mystery is going to be that he's going to be helping out with, but in the first book in the series, he does help solve a mystery for Emperor Maya, and so I assume he's going to be doing something similar in his solo book. I'm excited to read it though, because I did think he was a really interesting character with like a fascinating backstory, and I love him. Are you guys ready for this? It was 50 cents in perfect condition at the thrift store. I won. I have never won so hard at the thrift store before in my life. Like, genuinely, it was kismet. Like, it was so perfect, okay? And I'm just too happy. So I can't wait to buddy read this with my friend Steph. Also check out Steph's channel because she's really cool. And yeah. Alright, so the next book that I have here is called Stars in Your Eyes by Case and Calendar, and this is a queer romance, and it's about like two celebrities. They are starring in a movie together, but they really do not get along, and so one of them, I believe his name is Logan. Okay, so it's about these two characters, Maddie and Logan, and so they are co-stars in a movie and they do not like each other. Logan is sort of a like Hollywood bad boy and Maddie is sort of a up-and-coming star who's like the golden boy, can do no wrong sort of person, and Logan really does not like him. So even though they are going to be playing romantic leads in this like rom-com that's coming out, Logan says something disparaging about Maddie in the press, and so they end up having to fake date to kind of save the publicity around their upcoming film together, and of course they're going to be falling in love. I really like fake dating, but I'm finding that I don't enjoy fake dating as much if it's just like regular people fake dating for whatever arbitrary reason. I feel like fake dating for PR reasons as a famous person makes more sense and is more fun to me to read about than if they're just like regular civilian individuals. So I'm very excited to read this. Love a good celebrity fake dating trope, and I haven't read a book like it in a while, so I'm excited to tune in. And also this cover is gorgeous. I feel like the lighting is strange, so in the viewfinder I can't see what it looks like, but like hopefully you can see. It's like such pretty colors and I love the illustration of it, so I'm very excited to read this. Yeah, so then I have 3 more books to share, so let's get through them. Okay, so the next book that I have to share with you is Come and Get It by Kylie Reed. This book is coming out in January 2024, but the publisher did send me an ARC, which I'm so glad that they did because it sounds like it's going to be so messy and I love it, and I love a good campus novel. I have talked about this before on the channel, but like I love stories that are set in like an academic setting, and this sounds so messy. So it's about this girl named Millie. It says a fresh, provocative story about a young woman and her messy entanglement with a professor and 3 unruly students. Yeah, like it just sounds like it'll be interesting because we have this protagonist named Millie. She's going to be graduating from college soon. She's just trying to get like some job opportunities, and she has this professor who offers her a like internship of some kind, I think, and she jumps at the opportunity to do this and get some experience and hopefully set her up for a nice long career. And anyway, she gets involved with some weirdness and there's like some pranks and jealousy. It just sounds good. Look, it says a fresh and intimate portrait of desire, consumption, and reckless abandon. A tension-filled story about money, indiscretion, and bad behavior. I'm sold. I can't wait to read it. I think it's going to be incredible. Alright, so then I got this book. It's a really tiny novella and it's called Mammoth at the Gates by Niveau. This is the 4th book in the Singing Hill cycle, which is a like fantasy novella series that follows this cleric named Chi. And I really love when fantasies can be short. Like I love a short punchy fantasy that's going to give me an interesting storyline in as few pages as possible. I love that, so I'm excited to get into it. And last but certainly not least, I want to share with you guys the upcoming release of my best friend Reagan. So this book is called Sweet and Sour Dreams, A Ride in My Mind by Reagan Watkins, and she's my best friend. I have been best friends with her since high school. We were like sophomores in geometry together, and I just love that girl so much. Okay, she's one of my best friends of all time. This is her 2nd book release, so this is her poetry collection. This book is coming out October 14th, and I'm just so proud of her. And she did just gift me a copy, and inside it's got this really sweet message from her. I love her for pursuing her dreams and her passion, because she has been really passionate about poetry since high school, since our sophomore year. And so it's just amazing to see like the iconic creative person that she's grown into. Incredibly proud of her, and yeah, I love her so much. I'm just like in awe of her journey, and I can't wait to read this. That's the haul, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and also thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this. Do be sure to check them out at the link in my description below, and make sure that you use the code SPOOKY so you can get your first book for $5. I want y'all to take advantage of this deal, so thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check that out in the link in the description, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, you guys. Mwah.